So I wouldn't say that there's too much data. I would say that teachers are busy people, and as are in school administrators. And so a lot of the work is about helping school administrators and teachers really figure out what is their data story. So I study the use of data in schools, and I try to help teachers and administrators use the data that they collect every day in schools in more effective ways. And I do that in two different ways. First, I try to help teachers and administrators talk about the use of evidence in their practice more effectively, using data in a very collaborative and human way in which you and I can talk to each other in a, let's say, a school faculty meeting. I also work on the other side of the data piece in working with data scientists as well as machine learning and data dashboard groups, where we work to try to make the data and the data dashboards that are collected in like instructional data warehouses more effective and useful for educators. I think that in a lot of ways, teachers will say that they use data every day in their practice. So this question of is there too much data, I think is really interesting, in which teachers, they're giving assessments every day. They're formatively assessing their students. They're asking their students questions, and their students are providing answers back. That's all data, as well as the kinds of more summative assessments that schools and districts are conducting every single day. So I wouldn't say that there's too much data. I would say that teachers are busy people, and as are in school administrators. And so a lot of the work is about helping school administrators and teachers really figure out what is their data story. Where are the patterns? And where do we need to look to help us as a community in a school decide what are the biggest, most important issues that the evidence shows that where we're having successes but also challenges. So something that I think administrators and teachers could use right away is this idea of using teacher-assigned grades to help understand the life course and the trajectory of students, especially through middle school and high school. And so in my work, I've been able to identify that non-cumulative grade point averages are an important piece of data that schools should really focus on. And when I mean non-cumulative, I say that it's the grade point average of a student in one semester, so that we don't punish or reward a student for really great work with the semester before or the semester after. We allow the data to stand on its own, and we see semester to semester that how students go up or down over time. And one of the things I've seen is that nationally, we've been able to identify that when it comes to trying to understand how do we predict who is going to graduate or fail to graduate from high school, one of the absolute strongest predictors is your trajectory in non-cumulative grade point average in the first 3 semesters of high school. The idea of why this kind of research is important in schools is the idea that there's a lot of decision-making that happens every single day in schools, from teachers to administrators to parents to students and up to policymakers. And the kinds of work I do is trying to help bring an evidence base that is based from the data that matters most to the school community, bring that kind of evidence base to the surface, in the hopes that, especially for underserved communities and schools that are facing a lot of different challenges, that we can identify the most important and salient information and evidence that could help us find a successful trajectory and improvement strategy for those schools, and help bring together the teachers and administrators and their communities around goals that they can agree on. And then on top of it, and most importantly, be able to measure their success over time, how they're doing, and be able to have an open and honest conversation about how it's going. Rather than what happens at a lot of school board meetings, people show up with a lot of very strong opinions, but having the data to back those up and the types of patterns that can help us see what we might not have been able to see before without that pattern analysis can be a really powerful addition to these kinds of conversations.